He came with 10,000s of saints from his right hand and went a fiery law for them. All right. So those 10,000, man, which again, because when Yahushua shows up, it's a number that you can't count. All right. It's just a innumerable amount of angels that Yahushua is showing up with. All right. A lot of angels, man. All right. Again, so-called black men, and this is what, when you go back to 2nd Esdras, the 13th chapter and verse 3, it says, and I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. And when he turned his countenance to look, so you see when Yahushua shows up with an innumerable amount of angels, all right, again, so-called black men, all right, and Yahushua turned his countenance to look, all right, because, hey, man, this is it, man. This is the day the Lord, going back to Zephaniah 3, all right, the day that the Lord has been determining for a long time, man, it's finally going to pay off. Yahushua is finally going to get his payback, all right? The saints are finally going to get recompensed, all right? Salvation, all right? Death and destruction to this place. That's what we're going to get it, all right? So that's why it says, and when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him. Because again, if the Lord was coming back to give hugs and kisses, why are people trembling, man? All right, because the scripture says that there's going to be a day, hey, man, people are going to drop dead just out of fear, just out of the sight alone. People's hearts are going to stop. All right, people are going to die of cardiac arrest just at the sight of this, man. You can picture a so-called black man with red, piercing eyes, all right, looking down fiercely, getting ready to do something, getting ready to get busy, man. Verse 4 says, and whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth failed when it fleeth the fire. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of the earth, from the four winds of the heaven, to subdue the man that came out of the sea. All right. It says, verse 6, but I beheld, and lo, he had raised himself a great mountain and flew upon it. All right, talking about that massive chariot, all right, what you call UFOs. All right, hey, this chariot is so big. When Ezra seen this, he thought it was a mountain. He thought it was a mountain. How big it was, but no, man. Yahushua is showing up with he's showing up on a massive chariot. All right, and what's going to come forth out of this chariot? When you read verse 8, it says, and after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, yet durst fight, because Yahushua is going to put the spirit on these nations to fight them, because they're not going to want to, but to show you that Yahushua is in control of all things. All right, because going back to what I mentioned earlier, Yahushua is stirring the minds of these different leaders, getting them ready for World War III, because this is what this is talking about, and this is ultimately what it's going to take place in the midst of World War III. All right, when all these nations are fighting each other, that's why when we read in verse Isaiah 34th chapter, all right, all these armies, the Lord's going to pour out his indignation on all these armies. That's talking about World War III. All right, verse 8 again, 2nd Esdras 13 and 8. It says, and after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid. All right, because again, the scriptures talk about how, hey, man, these armies, man, in the midst of World War III, when they're fighting each other, when Yahushua shows up and cracks through that cloud, man, when he